Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we have Rich Bowen, Program Manager for the county's Recycling and Waste Reduction Division. Welcome back to the studio, Rich.
Thanks, our returning champion.
Returning champion, yes.
Happy to be here.
Yes, and we're happy to have you. A recent mailer that went countywide, and of course this mailer was explaining about plastic bags and why they should no longer be in the recycling collection. Can you talk a bit about the mailer for us?
The mailer had two main topics. One was containerizing your recyclables. A lot of residents have gone to using a trash bag, a tall kitchen white bag to put their recyclables inside their home, which is fine. They can still do that. But what was going on was a good percentage of the recyclables going into the trucks for collection, the material was still in the bags. And when those bags are delivered to our recyclables processor, they can't open up all of those bags and release the recycling to be able to process them. The material needs to be loose in order to be processed. And they receive, from us alone, almost 400 tons a day of recyclables. So you can imagine that going through, they can't keep up with, they can't rip open bags.
How many tons?
Almost 400 tons
400 tons.
Almost 400 tons a day. So what inevitably happens...
400 tons, they can't open every bag for us?
No, they can't. It's impossible. They're a 5-day-a-week, 3 shifts, 24 hours a day. They're running, they're rolling, and they need to get the material through and processed. So inevitably, a lot of the bag recyclables becomes trash. They grab the bag and they put it in there, what's called a residue bunker, and it goes to the incinerator in Baltimore City, and it's lost recycling. So what the mailer asks residents to do, you can still bag it inside your home. That doesn't have to change. But when you walk out to your recycling container, your cart, open the bag up, dump the recyclables into your container, reuse the bag.
Easy enough.
You know, they can reuse it for recycling again back in the house, or they can use it for trash. So they could save some money on bags as well. So that was a main point. And that was the reason why, is we want to maximize the recovery of recyclables. And when they're put in the bag, that hurts that.
So can you just walk us through a little bit more detail what happens when, so the recyclables go in the truck goes to a location, and at that location, it dumps into what, like a big sorter or something, into a machine that agitates it or something like that?
Well, first it goes on the floor, then it's pushed to a conveyor belt. The conveyor belt heads into the building, and there are pickers on either side of it trying to pull out things that aren't recyclable. We get a lot of wishful recyclers where they put things in their container that they hope is recyclable, like a garden hose.
I do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Tracy Reynolds told me to do that.
So.
Hi Tracy, how you doing?
So
she told me to do that.
Their main job is to do that, but they can't. The material's coming through. It's coming through at a rate that they can't grab these bags and open them up. So they're just grabbing them and putting it with the other stuff that's not.
Okay, and then the stuff that is recyclable, then what? It goes
first thing it hits is some belts, some gears that take the paper and get the paper to float up over top, and all the other material drops down. So that separates there, and then it goes through a crusher and comes through another line, and there's more pickers trying to grab what went into the paper line that shouldn't have been in the paper, or would have went in the plastic line shouldn't be in there, metal.
And do we deal with one plant that does this?
Yes, it's in Elk Ridge,
one
Maryland.
contractor.
Yeah, Elk Ridge,
so
Maryland.
If this contractor says we will not do A, B, or C, we have to comply with that, or else we have to pay for the hauling to send it far away.
That's the kicker. We're penalized. Recyclables that are put in a bag and delivered to the facility, we're penalized. We have to pay for that as trash. Instead of making revenue off of those recyclables, we're getting a penalty. So, that's the main things. We want to maximize recycling. We want everything to be recycled that can be. And we also want to avoid costs. So,
are we the only county using this processor?
No. Howard County, Baltimore City, Carroll takes some material there, a couple other small.
So it's really not just Anne Arundel County that's experiencing this change.
Right. The processors always asked their customers bringing the material to not deliver it in bags. And what's happened over the years, more and more people are going to bagging and recycling and putting in the cart.
I don't get why they're doing that, Rich.
I think it's just...
I don't understand. Why are you doing that?
I think it's just a simple in-the-home thing. They've got a bag in the home, in the kitchen, and when they pull it out when it's full, they tie it.
They're just used to doing the garbage that way, so they do it. Because in mine, to give away some personal household hygiene tips, I don't use a bag. And yeah, my bin inside my house gets a little yucky sometimes.
And you clean it?
And I clean it.
Imagine that.
But I don't want to do the work of putting the bag in and then take. I wouldn't want to do all that. I'm perfectly happy just throwing my recycling into this bin and dumping it into my outside bin. That's what I do. I don't understand why you would add a step and put the bag in there. If you're really, really super clean person and you don't want drops of anything coming out, like, okay, I kind of get that. But like
Right.
Rich said, just take it in the bag and dump the bag
Yeah, you
out.
can
Put
still
the
use a bag inside the house. Just reuse it.
I've got one more really crazy question I have to get out because I know people are thinking this. When are we going to be able to recycle the trash bags? Why can't we recycle the trash bags?
Well, I think that's what you.
Well, the other part of the mailer
Okay.
had to do with
See,
plastic.
that was a segue.
Right,
Yeah.
had to do with plastic film. And plastic film are like your grocery bags. So the grocery bags, you go to the Wawa, the Giant, whatever, and they give you a plastic bag. Plastic film includes those, bread bags, newspaper bags, dry cleaning bags. Those used to be accepted in our program. We would ask residents to take a bunch of them, put them into one, tie it, and put it in with your recycling.
Oh, we told them to put it in a bag.
Put a bunch of bags into one bag. And that started back in 2008.
Oh, mistake.
Yeah, that started back in 2008 when there was a market for it. Over 2 years ago, more like 3, the market went away for that material. We didn't at that time tell residents stop putting it in. We're hoping that the market may come back, the processor will figure out how to recycle these items. But we started at that time encouraging residents to take the plastic film to their local grocery store. Most of the grocery stores have a take-back bin as soon as you walk in the front door.
And they'll take your dry cleaning
They'll take all that.
wrappers and stuff?
Yep, you can put the
Didn't you
bread
have a rule
bags.
about like crinkling or something? What was it?
Strategy.
Well,
Stuff
yeah,
that.
you're thinking like chip bags,
that
Okay,
kind
which
of
you were
stuff.
going to get to.
which that's never been accepted in our program.
Okay, that's trash.
Right. So what we've asked residents in this mailer is now to please don't put it into your recycling container. To as the option to recycle it, take it to your local grocery store. And they can now take it to their local recycling center. Our 3 recycling centers, Northern, Southern, and Central, now accept plastic film for recycling. So there's not
So
only
any grocery store, any of the recycling centers, there's so many options where you
It
can
doesn't
take
have to
these
be your
back.
grocery bag. It
Doesn't
can
have to
be
be
your dry cleaning,
Shopping bag,
your
Ziploc.
newspaper bag,
Bubble
kind
wrap.
of the super skinny plastic
shrink wrap.
bags.
Yeah.
the stretchy shrink wraps. I
Anything
think.
that's stretchy.
Right.
Okay.
And the reason it went away as far as a marketable item is with it being mixed in with other recycling, it would get contaminated. It'd get some type of residue on it, and the buyer wants clean material. One of the major buyers for this is the manufacturers that make plastic lumber. They use the plastic film to manufacture that, and they want a clean component from the plastic film they're using. So putting it in with your recycling
Will be clean.
Right, it's going to get dirty. So the other reason we want to get it out of there is some residents weren't putting a bunch of bags into one, they were just throwing them in loose over the years. And when that goes through back to our processor, when it's on the conveyor belt and it goes over those gears I was talking about to get the paper to flow, guess what the plastic bags will do? They'll wrap right around it. They'll spin, they'll wrap around. They've got to shut down the line and go in there with box cutters and cut them all out, and that cuts down on their ability to be productive.
So it's really the same idea as what we do with the yard waste, that these bags just gum up the operation and we just got to get them out of there.
Right.
So
And
that answers your question. Why we're not going to
That
recycle
does-
trash bags.
That does answer
Because
my
they
question.
jam the machine.
Okay.
and there's no market to
Are you going to
sell
live in
them
a house
within
made out of
single
plastic lumber?
Am I?
Yeah.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think you would do that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of, they use it for decking too, right? So
They have that in South County?
a lot of deck.
Sure.
Plastic
Yeah.
lumber?
Yeah.
Get some in my house.
Not to digress or anything.
Well, on the flip side, and you mentioned this during the first question, the really nice thing about this mailer, and I think it has been getting a lot of good feedback, is that not only does it cover this topic, but it goes into pretty clear information about what should go in your trash and where to take things that really shouldn't even either go at the curb or you might need to call for a pickup. So kind of just, breaks everything down, what you need to do with this item. So major kudos for that.
Definitely. And one thing, you can still use a garbage bag, a plastic bag for your trash.
Yes.
We don't want you to put, some residents misunderstood it and then thought we wanted trash
boy.
loose as well. No,
Yeah.
you can still use a
You don't
plastic
want
bag.
that.
Secure that in a plastic bag and put it in a nice trash bag,
Very good.
can with a tight fitting lid. Still.
And I should just say, in defense of my colleagues here who do this every day, that Anne Arundel County has always been ahead of the curve on recycling, or curb.
Head of the curve.
But I mean, we were the first ones to do single streaming. We've always been flexible to try and make it as easy as possible for people. And this shows that, again, it may be annoying to some people that they can't put it in a bag and cinch it and then
It's
throw
just
it in.
trying to get used to
But
a
we
change.
were doing that for so long and pushing that as long as we possibly could until the contractor said, no, we're not doing it anymore. So
It sounds like it's an industry that has changes. So in order to comply with those changes and get material accepted and not be in conflict with a contract, sometimes we need to make necessary changes.
and save the planet, right? We want to save the planet
And we still want folks to recycle.
and have plastic lumber houses.
Easy change, very good. So yeah, no more recycling in plastic bags, save them for your trash. If you do have plastic bags, shopping bags, grocery bags, newspaper bags, wrap, you can take it back to your local grocery store, you can take it to a recycling center, and even some of the larger retailers. I know that like Target has those take back bins as well.
And don't forget to put your tree limbs and your clippings in the paper bags.
Very good, because it's almost fall season.
Leaf season's
We're gonna have a
coming.
lot of leaves
Paper
coming.
bags.
Put them in paper bags or a container.
But all of our viewers know that already.
We do.
Now you're super experts.
Well, Rich, thank you so much for taking the time to come out here. Anytime you've got another change, you know you're welcome. Or if you guys want to come in and talk more about the recycling program, we'd love to hear more about it. So thank you.
Will do. Thanks.
We'll be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere.